G'day everyone, it's Engelo Rumora here. I'm your favorite Australian and the real estate dingo, bringing you another awesome blog. And today I'm talking about my worst ever house buying experience. Let's get it started. So this is a blog for all of you guys out there that keep asking me the question of if you can renovate successfully from out of state or out of country. And I think that this blog will pretty much answer your question. So guys, look, I'm gonna try and keep it as short as possible because there was so much crap that happened with this deal that I can't even remember. But it happened around 2 years ago, okay? I bought a distressed property in the Washington local school district. It was the ugliest house on one of the best streets. And the Washington local school district here in Toledo is very desirable, okay? I believe it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. Now, I bought it from a, I guess, shady type character here in town, right? I knew going into the deal that there's gonna be a lot of stuff that I'm gonna uncover that's not gonna be right. But unfortunately, I uncovered a lot more than I expected. So pretty much what happened, guys, is, we bought the property like every other property, started the renovations on it. I cut the first check for the contractor, a trusted contractor, that is, what I thought was a trusted contractor. Progress was going along great. I didn't have time to go and inspect the property because I was kind of at a stage there where we were doing a lot of deals. We were doing, I think, around 15 to 20 deals at the time. And I stopped going out on site to inspect all of these rehabs. Even to this day, I hate leaving the office because when I leave the office, I always consider that as a waste of time and a waste of money. I always want to stay in the office, doing deals, picking up the phone and just kind of working with my team on the little nitty-gritty back-end stuff. Cut the first check. Everything seemed to be running smoothly. Cut a check to pull all of the permits. What I thought we were going to pull all of the permits. And then, of course, cut the second check because I was told that the contractor needs another draw, the work is going well. And then I get a call, of course, the dreaded call where the city shut us down and no permits were pulled. And then just, we unraveled a whole bundle of shit. I'm sorry, there's no other way to put it, guys, than that. Pretty much none of the work was done. I cut a few checks for the work that I thought was going to be done. The permits weren't pulled, even though I cut a check for the permits to be pulled. Then we got another contractor in there to try and salvage it. He pretty much walked off the job, said he couldn't salvage it, of course, took my money and ran with it too. So guys, long story short, an absolute freaking nightmare, an absolute disaster of a deal. City shut me down. Contractors stole my money. By the way, we found out later on that the property had foundation issues that we didn't know going into it. Another thing that was an absolute bloody joke is the previous shady guy that I told you that I bought the property from, he was stealing water miraculously, somehow plumbed into the main line underground, don't ask, and stealing electricity from one of the main lines on the street, don't ask. So pretty much it was one of those deals that you just could not salvage. And I don't think I've ever in my life come across a deal that you could not salvage. So here's the miracle that happened. The neighbor next door, because it's such a good area, knew how crappy this property was and knew how shady this guy was that owned it for a couple of years, that kind of ran it into the ground. He approached one of the contractors and said, hey, seems like you guys are in a little bit of a pickle here. And we were like, yeah, no shit, mate. And he pretty much just wanted to buy the house to knock it down so he could, expand his backyard and build a pool on the property. So the guy flicked, pocket change my way. Of course, I took anything I could get. Off the top of my head, guys, I think we lost like $40,000 on this deal. I mean, it was a big hit at the time. Because, we were just kind of starting to grow, starting to expand. It was tough. And I'll tell you this, guys. So the lesson I learned from it is this, and this is something that you can take away. By the way, this property was located 2 minutes from my office. Okay? Let me repeat that. It was located 2 minutes from my office. So all of you guys thinking that you can renovate successfully out of state or out of the country, look, I believe that you can do anything that your mind believes it can, right? So you can renovate successfully from out of state or out of country. I tried doing it from Australia and I didn't do it well, so I moved here. I'm doing it well now, but even to this day, guys, I still lose money on deals because, it's just the nature of the beast. The game of real estate, in my opinion, is to make more than you lose. Business is easy, people make it difficult. I've always believed in that saying. And one thing that I haven't figured out is contractors. But the lesson that I've learned from losing money on that deal 2 years ago is this. You can't be overwhelmed with your day to day. You know, there are certain things that you kind of have to pull back, you have to slow down, and you have to be more diligent with how you approach it, right? One thing in particular is when you're cutting checks to contractors on progress work that's been done, even if it's someone that you trust and that's been around for a while, still get eyes on site. So you have to have a project manager in place, depending on how many deals you're doing, right? We've got a pretty big operation where we do anywhere from 10 to 20 deals per month. So we've got a few project managers on site that get eyes on site, that are driving around all day and every day, making sure that everything's running smoothly. When a contractor asks for a check, we get eyes on site to see if the progress was done. And if the progress was done, that is when we cut the check. So that's kind of the first lesson that I learned. Another lesson that I learned from this property is never, ever, ever buy properties with foundation issues. Granted, we didn't know that this one had foundation issues, but double check, triple check, make sure you get more trusted eyes on site, because someone might miss it, get someone else to check it out, because the more people that see it, you know, you're kind of minimizing your risk of error. So those were kind of the two, I guess, key components that you know, I learned from this particular deal. And you know, I try not to repeat those same mistakes moving forward. Summarizing everything, guys, I pretty much want to tell you this. I think it's very hard to successfully renovate a property out of state or out of country, okay? And another thing that I always tell everyone that I speak to is this: teamwork makes the dream work. You really, really need to surround yourself with the right people in order to make renovating, flipping, any kind of real estate strategy a success. You know, find the right team, forget about the stats, forget about the demographics, really focus on finding people that you can trust, that have that delayed gratification type mindset, right? Plant the seed now and reap the harvest later. And then honestly, guys, I think you'll do well, because real estate is you know, it's a marriage. You know, it's going to take 5, 10, or 15 years to get you to where you really need to be. And you know, last but not least, guys, I want to tell you this. I've never lost money because the numbers in the deal didn't make sense, or because of, you know, the area and whatnot. I've always lost money because someone ended up screwing me, right? Either in a business or on a particular transaction. It is always a people factor. It was never the actual business itself or the numbers in that particular deal. So guys, that pretty much concludes my absolute horror story of a deal. I'm sure that a lot of you guys out there have your own horror stories. You know, I want to tell you this. Please don't let it, you know, set you back. It's an emotional drag. I get it. The sooner you can get out of that emotional drag and think ahead, you know, learn from the mistakes, don't repeat them, and just do another deal. You know, get back on the horse, as they say, and keep pushing forward. And you know, I really think it's a game of making more money than you lose, but you will lose. Don't forget that. Okay. So hey, I want to hear your stories. What do you think of my story? Comment below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Any questions, if I can help you in any way, I'd love to do that. So just let me know, comment below. And once again, that's it for today. I'm Engelo Rumora. I'm your favorite Australian and the real estate dingo. You guys have a great day.